Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all of you, dear students. We are learning class 9 science, biology. In that, we are learning a new chapter today, that is the chapter of midterm, chapter number 14, natural resources. Dear students, we had completed two chapters till now, that is chapter number 5, the fundamental unit of life, and chapter number 6, tissues. Now, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter number 14, natural resources. So first we will take the intro of this chapter. Dear students, do you know what is the name of our planet? Yes, our planet, the Earth, is the only one on which the life is exist. As we know that life on Earth is dependent on many factors. Most life forms we know that need an ambient temperature, water and food. The resources available on the earth and energy from the sun are the necessary to meet the basic requirements of all life forms on the earth. Yes, this is the very basic knowledge that we all have, that the particular temperature, water and food is available on the our planet earth, and due to this only life can be possible on our planet earth. So here in this chapter, we have to discuss about some of the resources, natural resources which are present on earth. So let's begin with this chapter. So my in this video first we'll take the introduction part of this chapter, that what are the resources, which kind of resources are present on the earth. Then we will go the resources with the name on the earth, and then we will take a one particular topic, one resource, that is air. We will discuss about the air in detail in today's video. So let's begin, dear students. Okay, so what are the resources on the earth? What should be the resources, or which kind of resources we are talking about? So these are the land, the water, or we can say the air, and the water. So what are the resources on the earth, dear students? These resources are land, water and air. Now we are talking about, we will learn about all these resources in detail in this chapter. But today we are only discussing about the air. So before starting air, So, before starting air, we have to learn some of the very important spheres, or we can say some of the very important layers which are present on the earth. So, first let's talk about the different layers which are present on the earth. Okay, so in this image, dear students, you can see a many kind of layers or many kind of spheres, that is lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and the whole you can see over here in the side, that is biosphere. So let's first take an definition of all the spheres. That first we will talk about the lithosphere. The outer crust of the earth is called the lithosphere, or we can say the land on which we people are living. So that outer crust of the earth is called lithosphere. Remember, dear students. Now what about the water? Now we know that water covers 75% of the earth's surface. Yes, this is true. That water covers 75% of the earth's surface, and the water is also found underground. Water is also found underground, and this comprise means underground water and the water which is present on the earth's surface. This both comprise which sphere? Hydrosphere. So you're getting, dear student, what is lithosphere? That is outermost crust of the earth is called as lithosphere, whereas the watery part which is present on the earth, it is called as hydrosphere. Now the air. Yes, dear students, the air. The air that covers the whole of the earth like a blanket. It is called atmosphere. The air that covers the whole of the earth like a blanket, it is called atmosphere. And living things are found where these three exist. Living things like animals, plants, humans, and all kind of living things, they only exist where lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere is present. You getting, dear student? This life supporting zone of the earth where the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and make life possible, it is known as biosphere. When these three layers are interact with each other, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, when these three layers are interact with each other, then one life existing sphere is formed, which is called as biosphere. Now, what is biosphere? That we will learn in detail in today's video. What is biosphere? Which kind of factors are included into the biosphere? So, let's see biosphere. Now, biosphere is mainly constituted with two factors, that is biotic factors and abiotic factors. Now, what do you mean by biotic and what do you mean by abiotic? The students, you already now clear with one word, that is bio. Bio means life. So same here, biotic means something related to living, something related to life, and abiotic with something related to non-living. So living things constitute the biotic components. Living things constitute the biotic components of the biosphere, and non-living things constitute to the abiotic components of the biosphere. See here in this figure that which are the living things are called as biotic: plants, animals, bacteria, fungus, protist, or we can say protozoa. These all are living things. And these all living things are constitute the biotic factors of the biosphere. Now, which are the abiotic factors? The abiotic factors are non-living things: water, soil, air, minerals, light. These all are the non-living things. Yes, dear students, so these non-living things constitute the abiotic factors of the biosphere. Getting, dear students, what are the biotic and what are the abiotic factors? We have to learn about the abiotic factors of the biosphere, that is air, water, soil. As first previously we discussed, yes, that which are the resources present on the earth, that these resources are air, soil and water, or we can say land also. So here we have to talk about the very important abiotic factor, that is air. So now we will discuss with air in detail. Okay. So let's first with the air. What do you know about the air, dear students? When the word air comes or hear you, what should be a first definition, or what should be a first sentence will come into your mind? That is the composition, right? That very first question comes, that air is made up of what? Yes, dear students. So as we all know that we have already know that the composition of air. What is the composition of air, dear student? It is a mixture of many gases. Which kind of gases? Let's discuss. As we know that air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, and very rest different gases and water vapor. Yes, and we also know that nitrogen is a major composition of the air. So it is very interesting to note that even the composition of air is the result of life on Earth. Yes, as different gases are present in our air, due to that different gases means variations in air makes life possible on the Earth. In planets like Venus and Mars, what is Venus and what is Mars, dear students? Do you know? Venus and Mars are the nearest planets of the Sun. Yes, and now might be you had heard about the Mars mission and there is life on the Mars and all that things. Yes, but here one fact is that the planets like Venus and Mars where no life is known to exist, जहाँ पे कोई भी life नहीं है, because the major component of the atmosphere is found to be carbon dioxide. It means what? On Venus and Mars, what is the main composition of the atmosphere? Air is present, that is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is very in huge amount present where? On Venus and Mars. Carbon dioxide constitutes up to 95 to 97 percentage of atmosphere on Venus and Mars, and might be this is the reason that why there is no life exist on these two planets, because the volume of carbon dioxide or the amount of carbon dioxide is very much. So many eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells also need oxygen to break down glucose molecules and get energy for their activities. That is the result that all the living organisms present on the earth requires oxygen for their survival. Yes, carbon dioxide is also released by so many human activities. Yes, we know, dear students, that when it is very high percentage of carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere due to the human activities. Which kind of human activities? That deforestation occurs due to that carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. We are using CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, also from the automobiles, from the running industries. These are the human activities from which carbon dioxide is entered in the atmosphere. But then also, despite this also, a percentage of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is a mere fraction. Why? इतना ज्यादा अमाउंट में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज होता है एटमॉस्फेयर में, फिर भी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के कुछ ही परसेंटेज हैं एयर में. वाई? जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज होता है वो कहाँ जाता है? सो So let's see that, dear students, that carbon dioxide it is fixed in two ways. Which are that two ways? The very first is the photosynthesis, that you all know, that green plants convert carbon dioxide into glucose in the presence of sunlight. This is the very major activity in which carbon dioxide is used up. The atmospheric carbon dioxide is used up in the process of photosynthesis by the plants. And what is the second way? Which is the second way in which carbon dioxide is fixed? So the second way is many marine animals. Do you all know the meaning of marine? Yes, dear students. The aquatic animals, especially those who are living in sea. So many marine animals use carbonates dissolved in seawater. The carbonate which is dissolved in seawater, that carbonate is used by marine animals for what? Carbonate is used by marine animals to make their shells. The shells which are made up by the different kind of marine animals, they are made up with the carbonating material. And here also the carbonate is used which is already dissolved into the water. So getting, dear students, that despite of so many human activities carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere, then also the percentage of carbon dioxide is very less, because the first way that green plants use that carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis and convert into the glucose, and another way that is many marine animals are using carbonates dissolved into the seawater to make their shells. Getting okay. Now let's further move into the air. Yes, the role of atmosphere in climate control. As we had already run what is atmosphere, that a blanket which covers the earth's surface is called as atmosphere. But what is the main role of atmosphere? That we know that air is a bad conductor of heat. Yes, here we are talking about that the air is covering the earth like a blanket. Yes. So what is the role of atmosphere? That air is a bad conductor of heat. Air is a bad conductor of heat, keeps the average temperature of the earth fairly steady during the day and even during the course of the whole year. Yes, dear students, sudden change नहीं आ जाता है टेम्परेचर में कि चलो बिफोर 1 hour it is around 25 degrees Celsius and after 1 hour it is around 45 degrees Celsius. No, it is not like that. It keeps what keeps the atmosphere keeps the average temperature on the earth. It prevents the sudden increase in temperature during the daylight hours and during the night also. It slows down the escape of heat into outer space. Yes, it is a very true thing about the atmosphere. Think of the moon. About the same distance from the sun, there is no atmosphere. Yes, moon is at the same distance as the planet Earth has from the sun, but as no atmosphere is present on the moon, the temperature of the moon ranges from minus 190 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Dear students, think over here. Minus 190 degrees Celsius. It is a very, very, very cool temperature. 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे बर्फ बनना शुरू हो जाता है. So it is minus 190 degrees Celsius. And at 100 degrees Celsius, water starts boiling. So it is 110 degrees Celsius. So why this kind of temperature ranges is present on the moon? Because of atmosphere. As atmosphere is not present on the moon, that is why we can see this kind of temperature ranges on the moon. Okay, so this is all about the role of atmosphere in climate control. Okay, now the next question comes into our mind, that what is the reason that why we feel air or why we feel winds? Dear students, we all have felt the relief brought by cool evening breezes after a hot day. Yes, yes. And sometimes we are lucky enough to get rains after some days of really hot weather. What causes the movement of air and what decides whether this movement will be in the form of gentle breeze or strong wind or a terrible storm? What brings us the welcome rains? These all the questions might be come into our mind. This all this phenomenon are the result of changes that take place in our atmosphere due to the heating of air and the formation of water vapor. Yes, dear students, the movement of air from one region to another region create winds. An uneven heating of the earth's surface causes winds. On being heated, air becomes lighter and rise up. As a result, a region of low pressure is created. Then air from a high pressure region moves to a low pressure region, causing wind. Yes, dear students, it is a very simple phenomenon that when the air of the particular area becomes heated, that hot air rises up. ये phenomenon तो सभी को पता है कि गर्म हवा जो होती है वो हमेशा कहाँ जाती है, ऊपर जाती है. As the air become heated, that hot air rises up and created a low pressure. गर्म हवा ऊपर जाएगी और उस एरिया के ऊपर कैसा प्रेशर क्रिएट करेगी, लो प्रेशर. नाउ दिस इज द one phenomenon that air always moves from high pressure to low pressure. Now where a particular cool air is present at the high pressure है, जहां पर ठंडी हवा है वहां पर कैसा प्रेशर है, हाई प्रेशर। जहां पर गर्म हवा है वहां पर कैसा प्रेशर है, लो प्रेशर। तो गर्म हवा ऊपर जाएगी, लो प्रेशर क्रिएट करेगी और उसकी जगह कौन लेगा, कूल ठंडी हवा। That is the high pressure, that air moves from high pressure to low pressure. So this causes or this creates the air. Do you getting, dear students, how air moves from one place to another place by creating low pressure and by moving from high pressure to low pressure. So here also we have to discuss about the two areas, that what happens during daytime and what happens during night time. So let's see first what happens during daytime. During daytime, what happens, ground gets heated up faster than the sea. Yes, dear student, if we compare two areas over here, one is the ground level and another is the sea level. Yes, here water is present, so sea does not get heated as quickly as land, whereas ground gets heated up faster than the sea. Ground jaldi garam hoga. Yes, so the air which is present above the ground gets heated and rises to form an area of low pressure. जो ग्राउंड के ऊपर की हवा है वो जल्दी गर्म होगी और गर्म हवा कहाँ जाएगी, ऊपर. इट rises up and creates what, it creates low pressure. Now what happened at the sea level? Sea does not get heated as quickly as land. Sea means water level. जितना जमीन जल्दी गर्म होती है इतना पानी जल्दी गर्म नहीं होता है. So what happens? Cooler and denser air above the sea sink to form an area of high pressure. ग्राउंड के लेवल की ग्राउंड के ऊपर की जो हवा है वो गर्म होके ऊपर जाएगी, जबकि पानी के ऊपर की जो हवा है वो अभी भी ठंडी रहेगी. सो यहाँ पर हाई प्रेशर क्रिएट होगा. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस, कूल एयर ओवर सी विच इज एट अ हाई प्रेशर blows towards the land at the low pressure, replacing warm air on the land, forming a sea breeze. Getting, dear students? इट मीन्स कि यहाँ की जो ठंडी हवा है वो किस तरफ मूव करेगी, ग्राउंड की तरफ. इसीलिए हम जब भी सी लेवल के पास बैठते होते हैं तो हमें कैसी सी ब्रीजेस मीन्स ठंडी हवा आती है. सो दिस इज द रीजन ड्यूरिंग द डे टाइम. Once again, dear students, that at the ground level, ground gets heated up faster than the sea. The air which is present on the ground gets heated and rises to form an area of low pressure. Now, sea does not get heated as quickly as land, so cooler and denser air from the sea creates high pressure. The air from high pressure moves towards to low pressure. This is all about during the daytime. Now what happens during night time? Vice versa. इसका पूरा उल्टा हो जाएगा नाइट में. See, dear students, what happened during night time? The sun is not present. Sun is present at daytime, but sun is not present at night time. So what happened? Land loses heat faster than the sea at night. लैंड लूजेस, वो जल्दी गर्मी रिलीज करेगा. कौन, ग्राउंड. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, एयर ओवर द लैंड कूल्स एंड सिंक्स टू फॉर्म एन एरिया ऑफ हाई प्रेशर. जैसे ही लैंड अपनी गर्मी रिलीज करेगा वैसे उसकी उसके ऊपर की जो एयर है वो ठंडी होती जाएगी. मीन्स इट क्रिएट्स हाई प्रेशर. वेयर एज व्हाट हैपन एट द सी लेवल, सी लूजेस हीट स्लोली. So warmer air above the sea rises to form an area of low pressure above the water surface. So sea level के ऊपर की जो हवा है वो कैसा एरिया क्रिएट करेगी, लो प्रेशर का. जबकि ग्राउंड के ऊपर की हवा कैसा एरिया क्रिएट करेगी, हाई प्रेशर का. So here in the comparison of ground and sea, now what happens during night time, that as we know that air moves from high pressure to low pressure. So here high pressure is above the ground. So the cool air from the land blows towards sea. The cool air from the land blows towards the sea. Getting, dear students? So on the basis of the above discussion, we can say that the appearance of areas of low and high pressure in coastal areas at night and the direction in which air would flow at night in coastal areas. Getting dear students, that during daytime the movement of air occurs from sea to land. During daytime the movement of air occurs from sea to land, whereas during night time the movement of air occurs from land to sea. This is the result, and why it happens that all these movements of air resulting in diverse atmospheric phenomena are caused by the uneven heating of the atmosphere in different regions of the earth. Getting dear students, that what causes winds and how the winds occurs.